Hello, hello. TOEFL final exam, Mr. Mithat Abbas. Mr. Ahmed, is there any issue? Hello, 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 hello. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. Okay, I did it. أنا عملت كده بالفعل. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. Okay. TOEFL final exam. TOEFL final exam. You still have the same issue؟ لسه الصوت واطي ولا لسه في الزنة؟ الزنة. طيب ايه؟ Okay. Hello everybody. How are you doing today? I hope that you're fine. Today, of course, we have the last session with our TOEFL final exam course. We're gonna have an exam, and this exam is a good practice after the theoretical session that you have taken with us. And regarding the last session, there was an error with the video. That's why I'd like to start with today. So we're going to run the video together, which was a practice on the speaking task. And then we're going to have our TOEFL exam in details. So stay with me. We're going to start with this practice test for speaking first, and then we will have the complete TOEFL final exam.
Test your ability to speak about various subjects. There are 6 tasks in this section. Listen carefully to the directions and read the questions on the screen. The first 2 tasks are independent speaking tasks. You have 15 seconds in which to prepare your response. When you hear a beep on the listening program, you will have 45 seconds in which to answer the question. The last 4 tasks are integrated speaking tasks. The third and fourth questions involve a reading text and a listening passage. You will have 45 seconds in which to read the short text. You will then hear a short conversation or part of a lecture on the same topic. You may take notes on both the reading and listening passage. You will then see a question on the screen asking about the information that you have just read and heard, and you will have 30 seconds in which to plan a response. When you hear a beep on the listening program, you will have 60 seconds in which to answer the question. The fifth and sixth questions involve a short listening passage. You may take notes as you listen. After listening to the conversation or lecture, you will see a question and you will have 20 seconds in which to plan your response. When you hear a beep on the listening program, you will have 60 seconds in which to answer the question. On an actual test, a clock on the screen will tell you how much preparation time or how much response time remains for each question. Your responses will be recorded and evaluated by trained raters. Now, get ready to answer the question. Question 1.
Describe a skill you have that will be important for your success in the modern world, and explain why this skill is so important. Include details and examples to support your explanation. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Question 2.
Some people work for a business, and some people work in their own business. Which would you prefer to do, and why? Include details and examples in your explanation. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Question 3.
The University of the Rockies Financial Aid Office has posted information about work-study grants. You will have 45 seconds to read the announcement. Begin reading now. Now listen to two students as they discuss the announcement.
Hey, do you know anything about the work-study program?
A bit. You know that guy, Jim,
Uh-huh.
in our philosophy class? Well, he got a grant. You have to fill in papers about your financial needs, and then you're allotted an amount of money that you can earn and told how much you get per hour.
Oh, do you know how much he was paid?
He was allotted the full amount. You know, Jim's from a big family, so money's tight.
Uh-huh. Hey, I heard there's an opening in the astronomy department. That would give me some good job experience. You applying for something?
Well, it'd be nice to get some job experience and be able to work on campus, but I'm not eligible. You have to really need financial aid. And between my summer job and my parents helping me out, well...
Oh, you know what? I earned some money last summer. I wonder if I'll qualify.
Maybe not for the full amount. Why don't you just go fill out the financial needs assessment form and find out? No harm in trying.
The woman expresses her desire for a work-study job. State the requirements necessary for taking part in the program and explain the advantages discussed. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Question 4.
Read the passage about symbiotic relationships. You have 45 seconds to read the passage. Begin reading now. Now listen to part of a lecture on this topic in a biology class.
We have been discussing the three symbiotic relationships between species. Mutualism, in which both organisms benefit. Parasitism, in which one benefits and the other is harmed. And commensalism, where one benefits while neither benefiting nor harming the other. Now, of course, these relationships are not always clear-cut. For example, there is a plant called a bee orchid. Its flowers look like female bees, to the male bee anyway. The bee orchid tricks the male bee into mating with the flower, thus pollinating it. However, we don't know if, in fact, the relationship between this particular plant and the bee is mutualism, parasitism, or commensalism. Sometimes the relationship actually changes. Let me give you some examples. We have bacteria on our skin, for instance. These colonies of bacteria don't harm us. So we can say that at this point, the relationship is commensal. But what happens if we get burned? The bacteria on our skin can take advantage of the burn and cause infections. The bacteria turn into what we call an opportunistic pathogen. A pathogen, by the way, is parasitic. Here's another example. Shrimp and crabs take advantage of colonies of coral which provide a nice home. They neither harm nor benefit the coral colonies. So the relationship here is also commensal. But sometimes a coral-eating sea star attacks the coral. At that point, the shrimp and crabs defend the coral. Without these creatures to protect it, the coral would be eaten. So, in this case, the relationship becomes mutual. The coral and its defenders are now in a relationship in which both organisms benefit.
Now, get ready to answer the question.
The professor gives two examples of symbiotic relationships that change. Explain both examples in terms of what the original symbiotic relationship was and what symbiotic relationship it became. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Question 5.
Listen to a conversation between two students.
Hey, Steve. I heard you've moved out of the dorms.
Well, no, I haven't. I'd like to, but,
Yeah, what's the problem?
well, the places close to campus are expensive, and the ones I can afford are too far to walk. So, I've got to figure out what transportation's going to cost me.
Buses and trains aren't that expensive, are they?
Nah, the problem is schedules. Sometimes I have to stay on campus late, after things stop running. So I'd have to take a taxi or get a car.
What's wrong with getting a car? Gets you where you want to go at your convenience.
A car in the city? No, thanks. Besides, insurance rates are high for my age group and, other costs. Maintenance, parking.
That's a point for being close to campus. Also, it's easy to get home if you forget something.
Yeah. And sometimes I like to take an afternoon nap because of the late hours I'm in the lab. It'd be nice to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Can't if you live out in some suburb. Maybe it's best to stay in the dorms right on campus.
Yeah, well, one of my complaints about the dorms is they're too noisy in the daytime. Can't sleep because everyone's got their music going.
You get your meals and don't have to clean up afterwards.
I think I could save a lot doing my own shopping.
So what's the difference in costs of a dorm, a place near campus, one on the train line, or, on the bus route?
I don't know.
You don't know? Well, if I were you, I'd get all the figures and make a hypothetical budget. A budget showing you taking a taxi 3 times a week and a budget for the costs of a car, and just put all the possibilities on paper.
I think you'd make a better decision doing that. And also, make a list of advantages and disadvantages.
Now, get ready to answer the question.
The students discuss the man's options. Describe his problem. Then state which of the options you prefer and explain why. Please begin speaking after the beep.
Question 6.
Listen to part of a lecture in a cultural studies class.
Although the entertainment industry is concerned with telling a good story, it has had a profound effect on people's conceptions and misconceptions of the world around them. Let me give you an example. There are many films and TV programs in which a serious crime takes place and a police detective solves, or maybe doesn't solve the crime. It appears that these fictional crimes, added to news reports of real crime, cause viewers' perception of the rate of criminal behavior to outrank, to exaggerate reality. In other words, the actual, let's say, murder rate is probably well below people's perception of the murder rate. I've just been talking about misconceptions of crime rates, but there are other misconceptions which may be more harmful. Now, I'm not saying that believing in an exaggerated level of criminality, say a high murder rate, isn't harmful. It could cause a lot of people undue stress, for example. But what I mean is misconceptions about race and gender stereotypes. A person of a different race or a female being typecast into certain roles. Think about, for example, the portrayal of a person in a wheelchair. He or she is either portrayed as overcoming incredible odds to do heroic deeds, or, on the other hand, being a helpless victim. Does this promote understanding or misconceptions? In the movies, doctors perform miracles, lawyers win cases, and crime scene investigators find the evidence. People in these actual professions often get clients with unreasonable expectations. Professional people comment that the reality of their daily routine, their job, is seldom like that portrayed in the media. Students are sometimes disillusioned about their career choice because the job seemed much more interesting in the television program than in reality. Unfortunately, we make these judgmental mistakes about our own society, knowing full well the existence of the fantasy created by the media industry.
Now, get ready to answer the question.
Using points and examples from the lecture, explain how the media has contributed to misconceptions about the real world. Please begin speaking after the beep.